According to estimates from the World Bank and the United Nations, around 385,000 babies are born each day. If you put that into calculation, in the blink of an eye, nearly 5 babies are born somewhere on Earth. And without a doubt, each one is beautiful. But believe it or not, there are some people born with conditions so rare and weird that even the best doctors can't fully explain them. And today, we look at the 15 truly unbelievable people living with the rarest conditions. So let's start with number 15, GAG. Right now, no one knows where or how GAG is doing. But nearly 20 years ago, his birth made headlines across China. GAG came into the world with 3 arms, 2 fully formed on the left side, both surprisingly functional. His parents kept him hidden at first, fearing the backlash. Eventually, our doctors at Shanghai's Children's Medical Center performed a complex surgery. After hours of debate, they chose which arm to remove. Both had separate shoulder blades, nerves, and blood flow, making the decision and procedure deeply risky. The operation lasted hours. GAG survived. But recovery brought more complications, spinal concerns, only 1 kidney, and no certainty that the remaining arm would fully work. His parents were grateful, but doctors warned, lifelong physical therapy lay ahead. His case was so rare that Dr. Chen consulted specialists around the world before proceeding. Against fear and odds, his family chose to keep him. That decision alone didn't just make him rare, it made him unforgettable. Number 14. Jacob was born with a genetic mutation so rare that doctors didn't know what to expect, and they warned his parents he might never walk, speak, or connect like other normal kids. But Jacob had his own amazing plan. He dances, sings, and gives hugs that could melt steel. He greets people with nose bumps and bright eyes that lock onto yours with full presence. His joy is loud, contagious. His milestones come slowly, so his family calls them inch stones. Every new word feels like a celebration. Every giggle is a little miracle. Jacob senses far more than people assume, and he hates being spoken about like he isn't there. He wants to be part of the moment. He wants to matter. And he does. When he proudly declares, "I'm a big boy," there's no doubt he means it. Not because he fits a mold, but because he's made his own. Jacob may not follow the chart, but he's writing something better. A story filled with sound, spirit, and love. At number 13, Simbarashe Dande. Simbarashe lives in a very poor Zimbabwean village with a burden that is anything but small. At just 3 years old, a tumor began growing across his face. Now 10, it covers 1 eye, makes eating painful, and keeps him away from school. His father searched for help until the day he died. Since then, his mother has carried the weight alone. People whisper about curses. Other children keep their distance. But Simba never lost his smile. His aunt in the UK started a fundraiser, and it needs only £40,000. Luckily, they've raised half. 1 surgery helped briefly, but the tumor grew back stronger. Swallowing is harder now. Still, Simba wakes up every morning with the same soft hope, not for a miracle, but for a chance to be seen for who he really is. He doesn't complain. He doesn't lash out. And he just wants what every child wants, to feel light again, to feel ordinary, and for once, to stop being stared at for the wrong reason. Number 12, Sinaya Burton. Back in 2017, Sinaya was born smiling, with bones already broken. Now 11 years old, she still lights up every room and every screen she touches. Born with osteogenesis imperfecta type 3, her bones were fragile from the very start. Her mother, Destiny Jackson, had to learn how to hold her without causing pain. NICU stays, casts, and surgeries became part of everyday life. The condition brings constant pain, limited growth, and bone deformities. Yet Naya never let it steal her spark. Even on hard days, she dances, she laughs, she lives. Her favorite comfort show is The Golden Girls. She twirls, sings, and spreads joy through videos shared by her mom online. Followers across social media call her pure sunshine. They see her strength even when things aren't easy. In 2025, she's preparing for another major surgery to place telescoping rods in her legs, hoping one day to stand on her own. A GoFundMe is helping make it possible. "You're special," her mom says, "but that doesn't mean you're not just like every other kid." Number 11. Kawana. When Kawana was born in the land of Holy Brazil, doctors were stunned. She had no eyelids, a wide mouth, and gums so swollen they nearly swallowed her teeth. It took days of testing before they found the cause: Barber-Say syndrome, one of the rarest genetic disorders ever recorded. Only around 20 cases exist worldwide. Kawana was the first in Brazil, the third globally. Her skin is unusually fragile. Her hair grows excessively. She's already had over 20 surgeries on her gums, and there are more ahead. But she moves through the world with quiet, stubborn confidence. There's no self-pity. Her condition can't be fixed, but that doesn't mean her life is broken. Her face tells a story no book can define, and she owns every part of it. She doesn't want your pity. She just wants space to exist without being stared at. Kawana's not a medical case. She's a one of one. And in her presence, you're reminded that rarity isn't always to fear. Number 10. Gabby Gingras. Gabby looked like any other baby, but something didn't add up. She didn't cry when she fell. Cuts didn't faze her. Her parents started noticing strange injuries: bitten fingers, scratched corneas, no reaction. Doctors finally diagnosed her with CIPA, congenital insensitivity to pain with anhidrosis, one of the rarest genetic conditions on Earth. Gabby couldn't feel pain. She also couldn't sweat, which made overheating life-threatening. At first, it sounded like a bizarre superpower. But pain is how the body protects itself, and without it, Gabby's life was full of risk. Her baby teeth were removed to stop her from chewing. Her parents padded every room. She once detached her own cornea by simply rubbing her eye, and she never felt it. Now older, Gabby navigates life by thinking through every move. Pain still doesn't warn her, but experience does. She's learned how much damage the human body can take when it can't scream. Number 9. The girl who can't smile or blink. Hazel is 1 year old and has never smiled, not once. She has Mobius syndrome, and which is a rare neurological condition that paralyzes her 6th and 7th cranial nerves, leaving her face completely still. When her mother first held her, she waited for something, any movement. But Hazel's eyes stayed wide open. They don't close or moisten on their own. Every night, her parents apply drops and gently tape her eyes shut to protect them. They watch her closely for sounds, small movements, anything that says she's present. Victoria grieves the expressions she'll never see. She worries about how kids will react when Hazel doesn't smile back. But Hazel is growing. She listens. She absorbs. She responds in her own quiet way. Her world is silent on the outside, but it's not empty. Her family is learning to speak her language. They've let go of expectations, and now hold on to something real. The quiet strength of a girl just beginning her story. Number 8. Anthony Barizia. Anthony was born with ichthyosis, which leaves his skin constantly dry, cracked, and painfully scaly. From a young age, he lived under uncomfortable stares and careless remarks, learning early how to disappear in public. Some days, stepping outside felt like dragging fire across his body. Still, the physical pain wasn't as heavy as feeling like he didn't belong anywhere. Over time, things shifted. A few loyal friends and a quiet change in perspective helped Anthony step back into the world. He began sharing his story, not for attention, but to stop hiding. His photos aren't filtered. His words aren't softened. He doesn't ask people to understand him. He already understands himself. Anthony doesn't speak in slogans or movements. He simply exists as he is, skin and all, without apology. His presence challenges narrow ideas of beauty. More importantly, it reminds people what resilience actually looks like when no one's watching. Number 7. Charlotte Pat. Charlotte was born with Sprintzen-Goldberg syndrome, which left her with a misshapen skull and fragile body. Doctors weren't even sure she'd survive birth. She came out silent, limp, and was rushed onto life support. Within hours, she needed a tracheotomy just to breathe. Her parents, Tammy and Dustin, were told not to expect much. She might never walk, speak, or live long. But Charlotte proved everyone wrong. Now 8, she's undergone 10 surgeries and continues to fight. Her condition fuses the skull bones too early, leaving her head long and narrow. It affects her muscle strength, mobility, and even her heart. Her siblings, Novella and Wyatt, grew up learning how to hold her carefully. Some days are heavy. Her mother admits the grief never disappears. But Charlotte wakes up every day and keeps going. Her family calls her a miracle. She melts hearts, shifts opinions, and reminds everyone that beauty has no blueprint. Charlotte doesn't just survive. She shows people what it means to truly live. Now let's move to number 6, Grayson Cole Smith. Grayson was born blind, deaf, missing part of his skull, with a hole in his heart, and severe facial, spinal, and cranial deformities. None of those things defined his life. His mother had a healthy pregnancy, but Grayson arrived barely breathing. Doctors placed him on end-of-life care and told his parents to prepare for goodbye. Instead, he survived. Over 6 years, Grayson endured 36 surgeries, including 26 involving his brain and skull. His condition was so rare that doctors named it Grayson syndrome, because no other child shared the same combination of defects. Surgeons used pieces of his ribs to rebuild his skull. Many of his conditions worsen with age, yet Grayson learned to speak, smile, and connect with others. His parents once planned his funeral. Now they celebrate every birthday. He doesn't see himself as different, and his family treats him no differently. Against every medical prediction, he keeps moving forward. Number 5. Tapiwanashe Joni. Tapiwanashe lives in a village in Zimbabwe. He was born with rare facial deformities, one eye pushed high above his brow, no visible nose, and a hairline that slopes sharply down his cheeks. And people call him the boy with 3 eyes, not always in cruelty, but rarely with kindness either. At school, he doesn't sit at a desk. He sits on the floor hoping to avoid stares and whispers. But he's brilliant. Ask Tapiwa about math, and his whole face lights up. He's proud of scoring 10 out of 10. He dreams of being a tailor like his older brother. His father calls him a blessing and refuses to let him hide. He's done everything he can to find treatment, but the surgery Tapiwa needs is only available in South Africa, far beyond what they can afford. Still, he waits, with quiet courage, and the kind of hope that comes from knowing he deserves better. Number 4. Rosemary and Christina. Rosemary and Christina turn heads wherever they go, not because they're identical twins, but because both were born with albinism. And the rare condition gave them pale skin, white blonde hair, and extremely sensitive vision. Growing up in New York, stares were unavoidable. Some people whispered. Others didn't bother to hide their curiosity. Instead of shrinking from attention, the twins leaned into it. They built their style, identity, and confidence around what made them rare. On Instagram, They share bold fashion choices, speak openly about living with albinism, and use their visibility to educate and empower. They never tried to fit into a mold. They created their own. Their pages, Style by Rosemary and Style by Tina, go beyond clothing. They're about presence, control, and refusing to be reduced to a condition. The twins didn't just accept what set them apart. They turned it into a purpose. Their message is simple but powerful. Beauty isn't exclusive, and it doesn't belong to one look, one body, or one standard. And they live that truth every day. Number 3. Eliana Rose Campbell. When Eliana was born in 2024, her parents' joy turned instantly to fear. She had epidermolysis bullosa, an incredibly rare genetic disorder that left her skin as fragile as paper. Diaper changes peeled layers from her legs. Feeding tubes left wounds. Even baths caused blistering. Every day meant hours of dressing changes. Her mom wrapped her in gauze like a mummy, knowing each removal would bring more pain. There's no cure. EB affects around 1 in 50,000 births. But Eliana's case was among the worst. Her skin broke down faster than her body could heal. Her parents shared her journey on TikTok, bandaged head to toe, smiling through agony. She endured 10 brutal months of infections, bleeding, and constant discomfort. In April 2025, she died in her mother's arms. Her mom held her close and whispered, "She's not hurting anymore." And that single line stayed with millions, because even love had limits. Rest in peace, Eliana. Number 2. Josie was born with Antley-Bixler syndrome, a rare condition that affects bone development and physical growth. Her life has been filled with surgeries, therapies, and challenges most adults will never experience. Still, none of it has dulled her spirit. Her family says the house feels brighter when she laughs. And it's true. She loves peekaboo, spinning wildly through the living room and long afternoons on the swing, signing that she isn't ready to come down. Her siblings stay close. They carry her, include her, protect her, and make her laugh. Not out of obligation, but out of love. Josie doesn't speak much, but she doesn't need to. The way she looks at people, the mischief in her smile, the spark when someone plays along, those moments say everything. Her diagnosis may be what strangers notice first, but it isn't who she is. In her home, Josie is joy. She is energy. She is the center that everything revolves around, without question. Number 1. Little Gilang Andika. This story is over 7 years old, and wherever Gilang is now, we hope he's safe. He was born in Batam, Indonesia, with a condition so rare that even doctors struggled to explain it. One body, one head, but 2 independently moving faces and 2 brains. It's called craniofacial duplication, a defect that happens when facial structures form twice during early development. His mother, Ernilasari Andika, had a smooth pregnancy. The 3 ultrasounds showed nothing alarming, just an enlarged head and breech position. After birth, Gilang couldn't breastfeed and relied on a feeding tube. He developed hydrocephalus, fluid buildup in the brain that caused serious damage. Doctors said survival would depend on a dangerous surgery in Jakarta to remove one face and the brain. Without it, there was little hope. Even with it, severe disabilities were likely. His parents were forced to choose between 2 brutal paths. There was no good option, just love, fear, and decisions no parent should ever have to make. If this video touches your heart, be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you very soon.